Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Jane Mountrose, your host, and this is the Circle of Love and Light. I'm pleased here today to be here with my husband and partner, who's a coach, healer, and founding director of Awakenings Institute, which we created actually to create a more loving world. And this is part of it. So this week, we're going to focus on the joy of living your soul's purpose. As an overview, we understand that each of us came into this life with a plan. So we're not here by accident, and we're essentially here with this plan as our reason for being alive. And I think that's a clue. We'll be talking about that. The important point here is that your soul's purpose is the thing that makes you feel most engaged in life. It's also one of the most joyful and fulfilling of all possibilities around. We'll talk more about how we can all move more into that place within ourselves. So before we begin, I want to also thank you for joining us. I think this is a place where each of us is here to light up our lives, and the circle can help us to heal, grow, and stand up as beacons of light for the world. It looks like Phillip may have disappeared. Are you there?
I'm here, but my video is not operative, so I either need to come out and come back in or just be on audio.
Can you start the video? Is that button available to you?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what to say.
Maybe I'll just leave and come back. Maybe that will do it.
Okay, why don't you do that, and I'll just get us started. Okay, so I also want to encourage you, if you're with us, to say hello. I see that Babs is here and Sharon Williamson. So wonderful to see both of you. So please, we encourage you to tell us that you're here, tell us where you're from, and feel free to comment. Maybe if you have any questions or just insights on things that we're saying, we'd really enjoy hearing from you. For a moment before we start, I want to just center ourselves a little bit, bring our energy together. Whenever you're here, whether you're here with us live or somewhere else in time and space, we are here together. So if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, just close your eyes for a moment, breathing in love and light from the universe. And you can invite that love and that light into all the cells of your body. You can also surround yourself with it. And just feel more present in this place and this time. And with that, I want to welcome all of you. And this would be actually the place where, if Phillip was here, I would, oh, here he comes. He's coming in. Let me get him here. There you are. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm back.
Okay, good. Wonderful. Well, just center yourself here, because now is your opportunity. I want to turn to you and ask you to share some of your thoughts just for getting us started on talking about our soul's purpose.
Your soul's purpose takes your life from kind of like a job or something you do or show up for or have to kind of attend to a meaningful, profound mission, something that you're here on purpose to do. So you kind of go from an accident to a purpose, from a wandering generality, as Zig Ziglar said, to a meaningful specific.
Right, right. And really what we're talking about is living this life from a higher perspective. Wallace Wattles, who we refer to often, referred to where people generally are, I think what Phillip was calling generalities, as the competitive plane. And we have the opportunity to move onto the creative plane, where we actually are creators of our lives, and we can start to address those big questions that we have, like, who am I? Why am I here? and where am I going? Because our purpose is our reason for being here. And as we open more to it, of course, we feel like we're living more fully. I know, to me personally, there was a time, and Philip referred to just having having a job, or which some people, their job is their purpose. There's nothing wrong with having a job per se. It is really about whether it is in harmony for our reason for coming into this life. I was an architect, and I wasn't really, at a certain point, after many years of being an architect, I just, it lost its luster, I guess you could say, a simple way of saying it. And I just felt like the life was draining from me, like my soul was dying. I didn't know what that meant, but actually, in a way, it was true. My soul was not present in my life because I wasn't living my soul's purpose. And so that started, actually, it started for me going on a journey that has taken me from there to where I am now. And I think both of us, because we were on the journey together, it's been just amazing and wonderful and miraculous and magical. Everything that you'd want from moving into a higher plane of reality as your way of being. Do you want to say a little bit about how that was for you, Philip?
Yes, it came to, like, I think like a lot of people, I was just reading that people have awakening experiences when they're 12 or 13 years old. There's sort of different periods of awakening. Also, children, before they sort of get their memories, 4 or 5 years old, are sort of transparent or see through the veil or connect.
Looks like Philip froze
with
here.
oneness, but again, it's into the artificial, and that continued in that theme played out in different ways throughout my life, where I felt there must be more to life than just surviving and kind of randomly doing things that you're interested in, or that things were so much determined by chance, and you had like literally no control over anything except just maybe your immediate interests and survival needs.
Right.
And so then that just grew more and more through spiritual pursuits, and where I met Jane in a spiritual group when we were in our 20s years ago, and that grew into healing, which was a key part we realized about awakening, and just following our purpose in different ways and how that shows up.
Right. Yeah. And I think there was a foundation to it also. The thing that was missing when we first started really focusing on this and realizing, well, having the jobs and the cars and the vacations and, and the house and all those things were not it. The thing that was missing was the soul's presence in our lives, a conscious relationship to that. It's that eternal part of us that's actually, it's always with us. We're just not necessarily with it. And because of that, it's rarely heard on a large scale in society. And I know some of the people here have been on the journey like us for many, many years, and some are just starting. Wherever you are, also, I think one of the most fascinating things is it's not like, well, I need to know what my purpose is, and then I just do it. Your purpose evolves as you evolve. And I think the important thing is to be in that place where you can be in touch with the journey and your next steps. And we'll go into that a bit actually in the meditation that's coming up in a while here. But I think something that is telling in terms of a soulful perspective is, there's that quote from Einstein that we can never solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them. And there is this reliance. Our society believes that all of the thoughts that run through our head are it, when actually the truth of who we are is here in our hearts.
And 90% of the thoughts scientists have tracked are either, most of them are repetitive, and the ones that aren't repetitive, a lot of those are just negative too. So there's a limited value to it.
Right. Right. And there's a big difference. This is something I've been thinking about just recently. There's a big difference between information that comes in through your brain and information that comes in through your heart. And your heart is the place, it's like a second brain, you could say. Science is finding that it actually is more complex than the brain in the head. It has a memory, it has insights, it has that connection actually with the larger aspect of yourself, with the soul. And even after all these years of connecting and receiving guidance, it still is the most exciting thing to me. Just the story of the soul is something that I never tire of. And Buddy, our little dog here, is the same. He always wants to be with us when we're doing these kinds of soulful events. So he has a beautiful little soul too. The key though is to connect with the truth in your heart. And this is something we'll do in the meditation too. If you practice it, and I'm sure some of you are, and I know some of you have been on the journey for years, but wherever you are, taking just even a few minutes in the morning to make that connection. I see Babs said, yes, exactly. Taking a few moments to make that connection in the morning can really, you could say, make or break your day. Starting with your head, like I have this to do, I have that to do, and you just start running off in a momentum. You're not really present to your life. Whereas if you take a little bit of time to connect with your heart, it can be a very different experience.
Right. Your heart knows the truth in my heart. We've heard those phrases.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is something to remember, because then you can connect with your brain and your left brain. Your heart seems to connect more with your right brain, or more holistic, global, big picture. And then your left brain is very useful for creative thoughts and discernment and filtering things out, but not as a beginning place. It might be an interesting place to explore, but to really ultimately rely on the deeper truth and knowingness of the heart.
Mm-hmm. Right. And especially in relation to purpose. If you're trying to figure out, well, what do I want for breakfast? You don't have to go necessarily to your heart. In fact, your body has its own intelligence too. So there are different approaches for different purposes. In terms of the way that we live our lives, the heart really knows. And it's interesting. Philip mentioned some phrases. There's follow your heart. There's the one I think which is interesting. My head says yes, but my heart says no. It's kind of like, it sounds like it's good, but I'm not sure about it because it doesn't feel right.
My heart's not in it.
Right, my heart's not in it. And it is for those who are just developing that relationship with your heart, if you make that connection, which also is about embracing love, and Buddy's so funny. When you're in that place of embracing love, which is connectedness, you could love energetically on a higher level is connectedness to the truth of who you are and what's right for you. When you're in that place, you can ask questions like, what is the right path for me? What is my purpose? And then you can also ask yourself specific questions that will be helpful. Like, what things make you feel most alive? What is it? What would life look like if it was soulful and energizing and purposeful, or more so? Or what would your next step maybe be? If you've been on this path, there's always a next step. You can reach into your heart and get a sense of what that is. And it actually, I think it takes away a lot of the stress and anxiety and doubt that people live with, because wherever we are, we're surrounded by a whole team of spiritual beings of light, who are guiding us and helping us to move forward in a positive way. We just have to be paying attention to synchronous events, to what we're feeling in our hearts, things that just seem to emerge from nowhere. Opportunities, or there's so many possibilities, but it really is about being more present to our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we still had jobs, and Philip was an educator at the time too, we both had full-time jobs. We didn't know where we were going, and we started actually doing the things that were most exciting to us, which was actually healing, because we needed a lot of healing under our circumstances, from where we were to get where we wanted to go. And it turned out over time that became our mission, but we wouldn't have known it initially. And I think it's really about, what is the next step? What is the thing that really feels like it's like it would be enlivening to you, and it's something that you're good at. I mean, I didn't know I would be good at healing, but but I really loved it. Go ahead.
Your next step also is following your heart. So I think where people sometimes get confused, i.e. the mind, is they try to think about their next step rather than follow their heart and feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's trusting and opening your heart on what to do. And then it just shows you what to do. It just reveals itself, rather than, it's like you can't figure it out, but you can feel into it and love your way into it in an open-hearted way.
Mm-hmm. And then you obviously you involve your head, like what's practical. I mean, if you want something that's a complete turnaround in terms of career or whatever, it's going to take probably steps. It's not like, well, my heart says I'm going to be this, so I'm going to just drop everything. That might not be practical. So we keep them going. What we want to do actually is get to a place where the heart and the head function in harmony with each other, which is possible. And it's a matter of actually just practicing that and communicating between the two.
Yeah, it takes some time.
Babs says mainstream society doesn't often support following our hearts, so it's essential to connect with like-minded or better soul-minded folks.
Yes,
that's true too.
A big yes there.
Yes,
right.
Because another part of it is a lot of us have people around us who would say we're crazy. They believe that, but from my experience, it's not true.
Yeah, and for most people, it's taking one step at a time, those little heart-centered steps. And if you try to take too big a step, then you're going to be frustrated and fail, and then you might quit. So, I mean, some people who take our upcoming spiritual holistic life coaching program, maybe they already are healers and coaches, but maybe some people want to start that anew. Well, like if you're thinking of a career, well, you wouldn't have mastery of a career right away. I mean, if you're going to become a nurse and you were just starting, you knew you're going to have a lot of training to be a nurse or a doctor or something. So for an energy healer, life coach at a deeper, heartfelt level, yes, you can start right away. Yes, you have a lot of innate talents that you're already using from this lifetime and elsewhere, but it's going to take some time and some steps to go there. And that's the journey, which
seems like we're having some trouble with our Wi-Fi, and we apologize, but there's nothing we could do about it. Philip has frozen there. Hopefully he'll be coming back. You were just frozen there. Anyhow, the Wi-Fi is not at its best today, but we just have to deal with that. To complete, actually, we do have a life purpose formula, which is kind of an overview. The first part is to focus on the things that you really enjoy, that make you feel alive. And they're often the things also that you're most naturally good at. So it like I said, we didn't even know about healing if we would be good at it, and we weren't actually focused on it when we first started. We were just taking our next steps and exploring. But there's that part of it, and then the second part is how would you combine that with something you could do that would help to make the world a better place? So it can be anything. It isn't like you have to be a healer or something directly connected to being spiritual. It can be maybe you're a clothing designer and you want to design beautiful, soulful clothing, or a chef and you want to create wonderful food for people to enjoy, or you're a doctor and you want to serve your community as a doctor and help people to be healthy and more spiritually aware, or however it is, whatever it is in your heart. So I think it's really important not to narrow it down to like it has to be, I'm going to change the world. It happens, ours is pretty much connected with changing the world in a very direct way, but it might be just your own unique part of it that is most meaningful to you and to the people who you care about, the ones who you want to be connecting with. So again, the truth comes through in your heart. And I think as you move forward, we're always being guided. There's that, I think, as victims on the Wallace Wattles, the competitive plane, we view ourselves as victims of circumstances that are larger than ourselves that we have no control over. When we move to the creative plane, we are creators of our reality, and it is in cooperation, you could say, with the larger forces, which are the beings of light who are guiding us. So life is always happening for us, not to us. In other words, oh no, something horrible is going to happen. Well, if we open to the divine, wonderful things can happen. And we need to keep our perspective up in that place where they're available to us, which is actually just being in a happier and more joyful place, a more peaceful place. People might define it in slightly different ways. There are all those things that vibrate. A kinder place, a more grateful place. They all are taking us in the right direction. Anything else, Philip? Do you wanted to mention about it?
No.
Okay. As I mentioned, also a lot of times we have to heal wounds that are holding us back. We might have fears that will fail. We might feel like we're not deserving of the best possible life. There's so many different things that can be stopping us. We might feel frustrated by all of the things that are happening in the world, which is another thing in itself that where we need to really focus in on the things that matter to us that we can change, because we can't change some of the larger patterns that are occurring around the world, but we can do something. And I think actually that's where the circle of love and light comes in too. It's if we can be vibrating positive, loving energy into the world, we're helping to raise the vibration of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the easiest things we can do as part of our purpose. Actually, is just to be vibrating what we want to create in our world, a more loving, kinder, whatever it is, world.
And that is an important thing to remember, because it's easy to be overwhelmed with the global things going on, all the divisions and culture wars and conflicts, and feel helpless and overwhelmed and insignificant. And yet, as Jane said, if you can remember to open your heart and beam light, that's what you can do, and that will ripple out. That's what everyone has available to one. And the more people who do that, it's going to compound. And one lady was saying she was living in an island, a remote island, and was wondering what she could do about global warming. And so she initiated people picking up like getting plastic and so forth, and from the ocean around where she lived, and then that spread to other countries. What she started grew in other people. So it can have not only a spiritual element, it can actually manifest in physical change too.
Yeah. Babs also mentioned letting go of ego-driven expectations seems to also be important. I do better when I get in touch with flow of spirit, I think she's saying, versus being self-driven. And that is part of it too, just being in the flow with what is. And I think, as Philip was suggesting, whatever we do is our vote for the world that we want to create. If nothing else, we can conduct ourselves in the way that we would want to, the things that we would want to see in the world, and to treat others with the kindness we would want to receive ourselves, etc. And of course, I do think flow is a part of it, being in the flow with life rather than trying to control, because we actually can't control everything, but we can be in the flow with the divine and understand that whatever is happening, it has a positive purpose for our lives. And from wherever we are, there is a next step available to us. We're in the perfect place to take our next steps. So if something is occurring that is not what you want to create, it's an opportunity to focus more on what you do want to create, or to understand, well, what positive purpose might this have? I often return in my mind, and I mentioned too, it's always amazed me how people who have had cancer sometimes say, well, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I think we have to understand that we grow through our challenges too, that our lives are more of who we really are, can emerge through challenges. Sharon Williamson says, and doing nothing is also a vote. Right? If we don't make ourselves heard in some way or felt, if we don't do anything, what does that mean? I think just also something else we do is encourage people to share the love, share with others the value of this approach to life. I'll be referring at the end of this to a book we just wrote, which is for that purpose of passing it out. Passing out the information about how love is really the ultimate solution, actually. Stress is a killer. If you read the statistics on stress, and most people live with some kind of chronic stress, that it actually is very bad for the body. It's connected with just about every disease imaginable. Certainly isn't a positive quality of life in terms of enjoyment or joy. Yeah, it's just incredible the opportunities we have actually as creators. If we understand we're creators and then look at our options, I think it changes things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can overcome a lot of the necessary stress we have living today, and then a lot of the stress we just bring onto us because of choices we make by making different choices, as we said, little steps to open your heart. And that can make a difference at the end of the day. Those can be the highlights of the day. And it might be something very small. It might be just something you said to someone you met at the grocery store or something.
Light up someone's life just by smiling at them, or saying hello, or saying, well, gee, that's a beautiful dress you have on, or whatever. I know there were times when I felt I didn't make a difference, but I believe that all of us make a difference, and everything we do makes a difference. Babs said, love, we are in the perfect place to take our next step. Which is, I think that's an important point. Whatever is happening, we can interpret it ourselves. Like, I like to tell myself something wonderful is happening today, and I'm going to find out what it is. That's a better place than, oh no, I have to get up and go to work again this morning, or whatever it is. Like, oh, another day. Right, but Buddy's always enthusiastic about getting up.
Yeah, if you're in a difficult situation to endure, just figure you're enduring that until something good shows up, and it's coming and you're looking for it.
Right.
And it may show up a lot sooner than you imagine.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So with that, I think we're ready for our meditation. Feel like we're ready? Okay.
We are.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to invite in an archangel or two, and Buddy Buddy wants to come back. He's very insistent about all of this. And we're going to take a journey to the spiritual path. And we'll start also by connecting with the truth in our hearts. And that's a foundation you can use as a meditation on its own, just a short meditation. So if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, again, this is the time, just gently closing your eyes, and with a recognition that we're surrounded by a host of beings of light who are supporting us. Just invite them to share with us the love and light that they have available to us, and we can breathe in that love and light with every breath, sending it into all of the cells of your body. And as you exhale, releasing any energy that is not consistent with that. So any stress or fear, anxiety. The moment is usually pretty simple. And just being here in this moment, breathing in love. Can breathe it into any place where you might notice stress in your body. We often carry it around our necks or shoulders or stiff back. Can breathe it into your brain. Just asking any thoughts that you don't need now, ask them to drift away for the moment. The brain wants to be heard, and I like to tell my mind that if you just can be quiet now, when there will be a time after this experience to evaluate it. That's actually the brain's role. It can evaluate the experience afterwards. For now, we just want to be present in our bodies. And as Bab said, we want to be in that flowing place. And asking any energy that is not your own, that is in your space, which includes in your body and that ball of light that surrounds you, just ask it to go back where it came from with your intention. And send it back with love. Similarly, asking any of your own energy that you've left in other places to bring it back to you now in this moment. And you might feel that. I usually can feel energy coming back to me. And notice then I feel much more solid in the moment, like we can just be here together in this moment in our bodies. Opening now to that love that we feel in our hearts. Then you can even tap on that area around your heart in the middle of your chest. That enlivens your heart energy. And breathe love into your heart. As you do that, you might notice that your heart becomes brighter, that light in your heart becomes brighter, or you might feel energy that becomes stronger in your heart, that energy of love. And as you breathe into your heart, just allow that love to start radiating out from your heart, all through your body, into all the cells. They love love. They're enlivened by love. They're made more healthy by love. And then allowing it to flow out, surrounding you in your entire energy field, that ball of light around you, filling that with love and allowing it to expand out. We contract our energy because we want to fit in. This is a time when you can just expand out and be fully yourself, fully embracing the beauty of yourself. And with that, I want to invite Archangel Jeremiel to join us. Archangel Jeremiel is considered sometimes the angel of transition and change. He can help us to reflect on where we are in life, how far we've come through all the ups and downs that have taken us to this moment. and to make positive choices from where we are now moving forward on our spiritual paths. So we can invite him to be with us. He's often experienced as a beautiful violet light, and he's associated with the stone amethyst. And when I imagine that and all of the beautiful tones of violet and just the pale lilacs and all the way to white, and imagine all of those tones in the space around me. And there are sparkles too, sparkling crystals of amethyst. So you can feel those sparkles around you and in your body. And together we'll rise up to a path, the spiritual path, which is in the higher planes. It's up in the creative plane, whereas those who are in stress and fear are on the competitive plane. So we can just rise up to that spiritual path. And it's a path where your future is laid out in front of you and your past is behind you. And just you're standing in the moment on this path, which is your unique path in life. You can come here anytime, actually, and notice what's here for you. Just notice what's around you now on your spiritual path. And the path itself, is it wide? Is it narrow? What is it made of? Is it like the yellow brick road, or is it like a sparkling diamond path? Is it a dirt path? Maybe a nice earthy path that connects you with Mother Earth? There are many, many possibilities. And for each of us, it's unique, as are the surroundings around us and the beings of light who are supporting us, who are around us. And we want, in particular, to notice Jeremiel here with us, because he's here to help to guide us on our souls, with our soul's plan. And to begin, also, I'd like to just take a moment to turn around and notice the long journey that has brought you to where you are now, the ups and the downs, and all of the things that have contributed to making you the person who you are in this moment, with the opportunities to take your next perfect steps, and to honor yourself for that journey, for all of the steps you've taken on the journey. And to understand on the spiritual path and from this spiritual perspective, which Jeremiel certainly agrees with, is you are a magnificent spiritual being. Each of us has greatness within us that is emerging or wanting to emerge. So we can stand tall in the awareness of the truth of who we are, that there's something unique, special in you, and something uniquely special about this journey that you're on. Just feel that and open to that. And then from where you are now, ask Jeremiel also to show you, or for the path itself to show you, as you turn around again and look forward, to wanting to be on your most positive, you could say, trajectory, the most positive path for realizing your purpose. Just imagine that before you, that's your intention. You know, if our intention is to wallow a little bit more in the mud, the future might not look too good. If our intention is to embrace and really respect who we are now and the opportunities that lie before us, just look forward with that in mind and notice how the future looks from that perspective. And again, for each of us, it's unique. And the images that we see are meaningful to us. So everything that you're noticing around you is meaningful. You might hear things, you might feel things. There might be a little bird who has a message for you. Who knows? Anything could happen. And of course, Archangel Jeremiel is walking with us. And he's available to walk with you every day if you call on him. The archangels are available to us, but we have to ask for their guidance and assistance. And I sense also that I see Archangel Jeremiel has a gift. So he has a gift for you, and you can accept that gift, whatever it is. This is something that may be meaningful to you as you move forward. He may also have a message for you. And you can open to what that might be. Something simple that you can receive in this moment. And then noticing the gift, if it's in a box or something, you can open it. Many times there are things in these gifts that we can actually then duplicate in our reality. I'm seeing a beautiful selenite heart, which it's one of my favorite things. I'm so grateful. And just notice how it feels knowing that we're on this path, the path to our brightest future. And that when barriers appear or obstacles appear on the path, that there are beings of light available to help us to overcome them. So we're going to come back now, and doing so, just remember you can come back to this place and spend more time with Archangel Jeremiel if you want. I'm also sensing Archangel Raziel wants to be present too. And he surrounds us with a rainbow of light. He's one of the most joyful of angels, and he's wonderful to invite anytime if you want to experience more joy. His energy, I feel it just right away. And he's like the magician of the archangels and also the spiritual guru. So he can help us also to solve life's mysteries, to look at the larger mysteries. Who am I? Why am I here? All of those things, all of those esoteric questions we can ask. And he invites us to do so. For now, he just wants us to accept that rainbow of light. You can feel that in your body and all around you. And we can imagine that that rainbow of light flowing down back into the place where we are now. I'm sitting in a chair. If you're sitting or lying down, just allow yourself now to kind of drift beautifully down, thanking both Archangel Jeremiel and Archangel Raziel for this experience. And feeling yourself in your seat, grounding yourself firmly to the earth. And if we thank Mother Nature, Mother Earth will send more love to us, which I find very tangible and I can feel it very well. So we're being supported above and below and all around us. And breathing in more active energy, just allowing your energy field to take on the perfect form for being back in your normal waking state. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. That was beautiful. Looking forward, I saw a lot of light, which is wonderful. How was that for you, Philip?
That was really nice. I saw sort of a amethyst gem laden road before me, which reminded me
Wow.
of the journey being very precious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sharon Williams said, ah. What does Buddy sing? What do you think? Bab says, thank you. So very perfect for me today. And it's interesting. I know Babs has been on the path for many years, as has Sharon and some others who are here. It still is equally meaningful. Our place where we are now is meaningful. The path to where we're going is meaningful. It just feels good being in the flow with life, as Babs would say. And it is, I think, another one of my favorite phrases for a day, or as I'm going through my day, is I'm in the flow with joy and ease. You can say that to yourself in any moment. I'm in the flow with joy and ease. It's a choice. As creators, we have so many choices. Any favorite things you tell yourself, Philip, during the day?
Just to enjoy the journey and take the next step and be present and make the most of it.
Mm-hmm. That's a great one. Just enjoy the journey. I'm enjoying the journey, wherever it's taking me. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, it's really important. It's really important to understand life is always happening for us. There are always all of these beings, Jeremiel, Raziel, so many more who are available and surrounding us and guiding us invisibly and through synchronicity, just watching for synchronicity. Being in the flow is in the flow with synchronicity too. Watching for meaningful coincidences and things that might happen that you're not expecting. Okay, so this is the place then in our time together when we focus on, but he just won't stay down. He says, I've got to be here. Is that right? This is when we focus on just embracing that love and being the love. Somewhere I'm looking for my globe. I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. My drawer is full of things. I often hold this globe and just imagine surrounding the world with love. It really is the vibration that we're collectively residing in that is the most fundamental to what's happening on Earth. So as we embrace more light for ourselves, and more of us embrace more light, that alone can change the world. So here it is. What do you think, Bud? He likes it. He probably would like to have the ball too, the Earth. Okay, so Nikki said rose quartz, exactly what I need. That's wonderful. Yeah, that's beautiful. So we're at that place now. We have life purpose on our brains these days because we have a course on life purpose coming up, which we teach once a year, every year. And it's, as I mentioned, it's just so amazing. It's always exciting to me, and there's always something new in it. So Philip, do you want to tell people a little more about that?
Yes, starting October 11th, and 9 days from this day, this recording, we are offering life purpose development 4-month course. It's part of our larger coach and healing 1-year program. It's quite profound. It's not for everyone. It's just for a few self-selected people who are following their hearts and say, hey, this is something that interests me. I want to explore it further. And if you do, if you're one of those people, to be with a small group of people and have a wonderful journey and support and knowledge and advancement, the URL to go to check it out is tiny URL, an abbreviated URL, tinyurl.com/HOL coach, tinyurl.com/HOL coach. Find out all about the life purpose program coming up. See if you'd like to join us. There's some special payments and plans and all kinds of things, a lot of information on that URL, that tiny URL to check out if you're interested. We'd love to have you join us.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. We also have a free resource kit, which is a wonderful place to start if you're just getting to know us, for light workers, spiritual healers, way showers, and people like us. It has a number of things, an excerpt from our latest book, a happy tap with EFT video and other spiritual resources. And that one you can find at tinyurl.com/spiritual-kit. I also want to mention how to get that book on love. Love is the Solution, which is called The Solution. And that
it's
you
free.
can, yes, it's a free book. And you can actually send anyone to this URL that I'm going to give you, and they can get their own copies. It's tinyurl.com/444. That's the number 444 -solution. So those are some opportunities for you. We also invite you to check us out at circleofloveandlight.org. And also appreciate any support that you're able to offer the circle. You can like our page, you can follow our page, you can share this video with your friends on Facebook, which will help to spread the word. And you can invite your friends to join you in the circle, and share what happens together, insights you have. Maybe you could go on the spiritual path together sometime and do that journey together. That's really fun to share with friends, those kinds of more spiritual, meaningful things. And the final thing that we do each time is we send the love and light that we've collectively gathered out to the week ahead. You can actually send it and fill your whole future with it, just full of love and light, blessing the world, blessing ourselves, and knowing that as you go through the week, that's going to be there for you. So have a wonderful week, everybody. It's been a pleasure to be here with you, and thank you. Bye-bye.